In the north of Colombia, there is a town called Barrancas. Every morning the ground shakes because the coal trucks start moving. 40,000 people wake up breathing dust. One of those people became a Bayern Munich player. What the cameras filmed was the goal, but what they never filmed was the mountain. Hi, this is Cyrus Fernando with FNTG, From Nothing to Glory, which finds a human side within the story. La Guajira is home to the Wayu, the largest indigenous community in Colombia. It is also one of the country's most neglected regions. For years, the area has been linked to hunger, water shortages, and child malnutrition. That is not background. That is a reality Luis Díaz grew up inside. Barrancas sits next to Cerrejón, one of the biggest coal mines in Latin America. The mine brought work, but it also brought dust, noise, and long-running arguments over water and health. In Barrancas, those problems are not abstract. They are part of a daily life. Luis Díaz grew up in a poor household in that town. He was thin as a child, undersized, easy to dismiss. The kind of Boy Scouts often pass over before the ball even starts moving. But football was always there. His father, Luis Manuel Díaz, known as Mane, helped run youth football in that area. Luis spent his early years on hard, dusty pitches, repeating move over move, trying to sharpen a game that did not come from comfort or elite coaching. It came from stubbornness. That matters when people look at him now and see the finished version. They see Bayern, they see the Champions League, they see the speed, the directness, the control in tight spaces. They do not see the boy from Barrancas, growing up in one of the toughest parts of Colombia, trying to build a future on dry ground, while the coal trucks kept passing in the background. That is a part of the story the shirt does not show. By 18, Luis Díaz did not have a professional contract. In football, that is the late enough for people to start moving on. In 2015, Atlético Junior held open trials in Barranquilla, around 6 hours from Barrancas by road. Thousands of young players showed up, around 3,000, all chasing the same opening, and Luis Díaz was one of them. He was one of the biggest players there. He was not the safest pick. He did not look like the kind of prospect clubs usually build around. But he stayed in it. He made the cut. Making the cut meant more than joining a club. It meant leaving home for the very first time, leaving his parents, leaving his brothers, leaving the only place that he knew. That part gets lost when people tell the story too fast. At Barranquilla FC, Junior's feeder club, the numbers were not impressive. Just 3 goals in 50 appearances. On paper, that looks small, but the people watching closely were not just counting goals. They were looking at how he carried the ball, how quickly he attacked the space, how he reacted after losing it, and how often he came back asking for the ball again. The stat line did not explain the player yet. It only showed how early the story still was. 3 goals in 50 matches. That is all the record showed. Not Barrancas, not the trials, not the move away from home, not the years of being told he was too small. Just 3 goals in 50. And that is the point. If we had stopped there, nobody outside Colombia would know his name. No Porto move, no Liverpool move, no Bayern shirt, and no World Cup spotlight. The career people recognize now was built in the part of the story where almost nothing looked certain. What changed was not Luis Díaz's talent. That already had been there for years. But what changed was the right people finally saw enough to move him forward. Junior brought him into the first team. He played wide, he played inside, and then wide again. The role shifted, but one thing stayed the same. He could hurt defenders in ways that were hard to coach and even harder to stop. By his early 20s, the numbers started to catch up with the talent, and he broke into the Colombia senior side. At Copa America, he finished among the tournament's top scorers. That was the moment the wider football world started paying real attention. Porto moved first. In Portugal, his game became sharper. The dribbling was still there, but the decisions came quicker. The end product improved. The chaos in his game became a threat. Then came Liverpool. Now the stage was bigger, the pressure was heavier, and the audience was global. But the part that mattered the most did not change. He still played like someone who knew nothing had been handed to him. By 2025, he moved again, this time Bayern Munich. That is the public version of the story. Barrancas, Junior, Porto, Liverpool, Bayern, a clean line, easy to tell, easy to package. But this is not the full story, because in October 2023, football stopped being the biggest thing happening in Luis Díaz's life. October 28, 2023, Luis Manuel Díaz and his wife Silinis stopped at a petrol station in Barrancas. Armed men on motorcycles intercepted them. They were the ELN guerrillas. Both parents were taken. Silinas was rescued within hours. His father was not. Luis Manuel Díaz was taken into Serrania de Perijá, the mountain range near the Colombia-Venezuela border. Search teams moved through the area. The Colombia government got involved. So did the United Nations and the Catholic Church. Luis Díaz was in England. His father was in the mountains and football kept going. That Sunday, Luis had a match. Díaz was in the squad. In the 89th minute, he came on. In the 95th minute, he scored. He then lifted up his shirt, Libertad para papá. His father was out there still and was only released 12 days later in the Serranía de Perijá area before being flown to Valledupar. Most people saw the goal. Very few people saw what sat behind it. A son playing in one of the biggest leagues in the world, a father being held in a mountain range near the Venezuelan border. The same story happening at the same time. That is the part cameras almost never catch. They find the moment, they missed the weight of it. Nearly 2 weeks after the kidnapping, the ELN released Luis Manuel Díaz. The handover happened in the mountain region. He was flown to Valledupar and then taken home to Barrancas. Back in town, he spoke to his neighbors through a megaphone. Thank to God for this second opportunity to bring me back home, and thanks to all the people of Barrancas, La Guajira and Colombia for the immense support they have given to my family. Days later, Luis Díaz scored twice against Brazil in World Cup qualifying. His father was in the stands. When the second goal went in, the release of everything hit at once. This was not just about football moment. It was a family getting one part of its life back. Barrancas did not suddenly become easier. The mine was still there. The pressure of the region was still there. The name people recognized had changed, and the place had not. In 2026, Díaz walks into the World Cup, where Colombia open against Uzbekistan before facing Portugal later in the group, including that match in Miami. If that Portugal game comes with a sea of Colombian flags in the stands, that will not be random. A lot of the people there will come from the same kind of places he came from, the same neglected regions, the same hard roads out. Monet will be there, watching. What the world sees on Colombia's left side is Bayern's number 14. What Barrancas sees is one of its own. Most people watching the 2026 World Cup will know the player, the speed, the dribbling, the goals. Very few will know the town behind him. Fewer still will know what that town has carried. That is why this story matters. Not because Luis Díaz made it out. A lot of football stories end there. This one does not, because the place is still there, the people are still there, and for the next kid growing up in Barrancas, his career is more than a highlight reel. It is proof that the road out is real, even when almost everything around you says otherwise. Before the goals, there was Barrancas. That part never left him. Next week, we're covering more qualification stories that meant more than just a ticket. If you're planning for the World Cup 2026, grab the free Smart Fan checklist in the description box below. It will save you time, money, and headaches. If you want to understand how Lucho actually fits into this Colombia side and why the left side is where this team lives or dies, FTG Intel has the full tactical breakdown. The link is also below. So who is the Luis Díaz of your country? The one who should not have made it, but did? Tag them below. I'm Cyrus Fernando, and I'll see you on the next video.